Imagine Sarah. She is smart, ambitious, and full of incredible ideas. Every January, she commits to learning Spanish, starting a side hustle, and running a half marathon. She buys the gear or a course, she makes the plans, and for 2 weeks, she is unstoppable. Then, by February, the energy is gone. The running shoes gather dust, and the business folder sits untouched. She is left with a sinking and familiar shame. Does this sound like you? Or maybe someone you love? The person who starts strong, dreams big, but vanishes when it comes to sustained effort. They are not lazy. They are caught in a profound psychological trap. Here at The Inverse Mind, we reveal the hidden psychological architecture that prevents follow-through. This cycle of starting and stopping is not a failure of willpower, it is a failure of psychological strategy. In this deep dive, we will dismantle the core myths that fuel this failure. We will explore the hidden identity trap that sabotages your biggest dreams, reveal why your brain prefers planning to doing, and give you the Inverse Mind's 3 pillars of execution. If you are tired of dreaming and ready to finish, stay tuned, because this video holds the key. Let's start by defining the real problem. The failure to follow through is not a problem of capacity, it's a problem of identity. We are all prone to the identity trap. This is the psychological phenomenon where we gain more emotional and social reward from claiming a goal than we do from achieving it. Think back to Sarah. When she told her friends and coworkers, "I'm training for a marathon," she received immediate social validation. "Wow, you're so disciplined, you're inspiring, that's incredible." She got the dopamine hit of the potential self without doing the necessary work. The moment she put on the shoes and hit the pavement, the dopamine vanished. The reality of a cold, painful 3-mile run replaced the glamorous idea of being a runner. This is the core reason why so many people get stuck in the planning phase. The act of planning, researching, buying the gear, and telling people about the goal gives us a massive, instant psychological reward. It allows us to wear the identity of a disciplined person without paying the price of discipline. But here is the insidious inverse effect. The more you publicly claim a goal and fail to achieve it, the more your subconscious learns that your words are meaningless. You erode your own self-trust, the most valuable psychological resource you possess. Eventually, your mind begins to treat your goals as little more than fantasy, and the failure to follow through becomes not an exception, but the very definition of your self-identity. This is the foundation of the crippling cycle. To break this pattern, we must understand why the brain actively conspires against completion. The failure to follow through is rooted in 2 fundamental neurological misfirings: the planning fallacy and the hedonic treadmill. First, the planning fallacy. This is our innate human tendency to wildly underestimate the time and resources required to complete a future task. When we plan, our brain operates in a high-level, abstract mode. We envision the finished product, the side business is profitable, the Spanish is fluent, the finish line is crossed. We feel good about the potential future outcome. But the brain completely skips over the low-level detail. It ignores the fact that learning Spanish involves 1,000 hours of boring grammar drills, or that building a business means processing taxes and dealing with customer complaints. When the actual work begins, the complexity hits us like a physical blow. The reality gap between the glamorous plan and the tedious execution is so immense that our brain opts for the easiest solution: avoidance. Second, the hedonic treadmill of effort. Our brains are wired for efficiency and novelty. When we start a new project, we get an immediate boost of novelty. New app, new book, new excitement. This initial enthusiasm is not true motivation, it's simply a curiosity spike. The moment the task becomes routine, the moment you have to do the same Spanish lesson for the 50th time, the brain registers it as low dopamine output. The pleasure center signals that this task is no longer novel, and therefore requires immense, conscious effort. We seek the next high dopamine hit, the next new goal, the next exciting idea to replace the current, boring reality. This is why people perpetually cycle through starting new things without ever finishing the old ones. The inverse mind solution here is clear. Stop relying on motivation. Motivation is a fleeting emotion. Start building a system of obligation that functions regardless of your dopamine levels. If the identity trap explains why we start, and the neuroscience explains why we stop, then emotional self-sabotage explains the deeper and hidden resistance to completion. This is the shadow work of goal setting. Many people fail to finish goals not because they lack skill, but because they are terrified of the consequences of success. The fear of finality. This is a common psychological phenomenon. If Sarah completes the half marathon, that chapter is closed. The identity of that marathon trainee is gone. What happens next? What if the next goal is harder? What if success raises the expectations of her friends, her family, or herself to an unsustainable level? The subconscious mind often prefers the comfort and low pressure of being a person with potential. Being the person who could run a marathon is safer than being the person who did run a marathon and now has to run a full one next year. By stopping just short of completion, they protect themselves from the pressure, scrutiny, and expectation that genuine success inevitably brings. They use potential as a shield against the fear of performance. The shadow goal of perfectionism. Perfectionism is not a virtue, it is a defensive mechanism against criticism. For the person who never follows through, perfectionism is the perfect excuse for inaction. I can't launch the business yet. The website isn't perfect. I can't speak Spanish yet, my accent is terrible. The hidden goal here is not to finish well, but to avoid being judged. By keeping the project permanently in the planning or early phase, the project is never open to external critique. It remains a perfect, unassailable idea in their mind. The true goal is self-protection, not achievement. The inverse mind must force an acceptance of imperfect action over comfortable, perfect stasis. The failure to follow through is not just a personal problem, it is a philosophical one. It is an act of intellectual and existential cowardice that prevents us from realizing our highest potential. This is a crisis of arete. Arete is the ancient Greek concept often translated as excellence, or virtue, but more accurately means the fulfillment of purpose or being the best you can be. For a knife, its arete is sharpness. For a horse, its arete is speed. For a human, our arete is the cultivation of reason and the realization of our unique capabilities. When we constantly abandon goals, we are actively sabotaging our own arete. We are telling the universe that the idea of our potential is more valuable than the act of realizing it. We fall into a deep moral trap where our life becomes a portfolio of half-finished projects, serving as monuments to our own self-betrayal. The existentialists already warned us about this. They argued that we are defined not by our intentions, but by our actions. If you perpetually intend to be a writer, but you never publish, you are not a writer. You are a person who intends to write. The reality of your life is built on what you do, not what you plan. The inverse mind must confront this self-betrayal. We must accept that to live a life of meaning, we must sacrifice the comforting illusion of perfect potential for the messy, brutal, but ultimately rewarding reality of actualized accomplishment. The commitment to follow through is not a productivity hack. It is a moral obligation to your own existence. To break the cycle of failure, we must stop using motivation and start building a foolproof system. Here is the inverse mind's 3 pillars of execution. Pillar 1. Externalize the commitment and building this system of obligation. Stop relying on internal willpower. Willpower is finite and unreliable. You must create external structures that force you to act. The inverse rule: don't promise yourself, promise someone else. Find an accountability partner who you pay $50 every time you miss a scheduled session. The physical lock-in: make the first step physically irreversible. If your goal is to write, pay for the co-working space now. If your goal is to run, sign up and pay the non-refundable fee for the race today. Example application. Sarah needs to schedule a weekly Spanish lesson with a paid, live tutor. She won't skip the lesson because it hurts her wallet and wastes the tutor's time. The commitment is externalized, removing the need for daily, unreliable motivation. Pillar 2. Shrink the target. The reason people stop is because the goal feels too big. We must shrink the task to the point where failure is impossible. The 5-minute rule. You are only allowed to commit to the first 5 minutes. Your goal is not to write a chapter. Your goal is to open the document for 5 minutes. Your goal is not to run 5 miles. It is to put on the shoes and walk out the door for 5 minutes. Stop focusing on the outcome, the marathon, and focus on the system, the daily habit. The system is the real goal. The daily habit must be so small and so easy that you would feel genuine shame skipping it. Example application. Sarah's new goal is to run one single block. She focuses 100% of her mental energy on just getting the shoes on and walking out the door. The success metric is showing up, not performance. Pillar 3. Plan for failure. Perpetual followers through don't have perfect streaks. They have perfect recovery systems. We must plan for the inevitable days we fail. The inverse rule of 2, never miss twice. If you miss a scheduled task today, that is a data point. It is okay. But you must treat the second missed day as a catastrophic, non-negotiable failure. The first miss is an accident. The second miss is the start of a new, negative identity. Failure scripting. Write out your failure plan now. If I miss my run, I will automatically send my accountability partner $50 and immediately schedule the run for 6 a.m. the next morning. Remove the emotion from the recovery. Example application. Sarah misses her run on Tuesday. She doesn't panic. She simply executes her pre-written failure script, which guarantees she is back on the pavement by Wednesday morning. She preserves the streak of recovery, which is more important than the streak of perfect attendance. The constant cycle of starting and stopping is a subtle form of self-sabotage. It is the preservation of potential over the realization of power. It is the comfort of the planner who refuses to become the craftsman. The inverse mind demands that we face the fear of success, reject the myth of motivation, and embrace the hard truth that commitment is a choice, and passion is its reward. Your life should not be a portfolio of half-finished projects. It should be a monument to your own consistency. This is not about what you could do, it's about what you will do. If you are ready to finally shed the identity of the person who only dreams, and step into the identity of the person who finishes, then subscribe to the Inverse Mind now. And let me know in the comments, what is the one small 5-minute action you are committing to right now to externalize your next big goal?